Okay, so we're talking about Kim here. Kim is 32 years old and wants to retire at 67 and wants $650,000 saved up to retire. What's that, not going to last? Well, tonight we'll look at how that money would get used up then in retirement. So we are looking at the payout. We have the lump sum, the future value. We're trying to find the required payment. So the payment is equal to that future value, which is $650,000, times or divide. Divide. Since that's the lump sum, we're going to divide to get back to the small payment. How many parentheses? 3, open parentheses. 1 plus, what's my rate? 0.113 divided by, this is per month, so it'll be 12. We close the parentheses to the power of, okay, perfect. We have 67 minus 32 comes out to 35 years. 35 times 12 is 420 months. Minus 1, and we close the parentheses again, and then, slow down. Okay, I'll wait for you. Then divide by, open another parentheses, 0.113, divide by 12, close and close. What'd you get for the payment? Anthony, it sounds like you had it. 121.84? Perfect. Did you punch something wrong in the calculator? Okay. Well, while you're punching it in, I'm going to ask a little bit of a what if question. What if Kim puts away $243 per month instead? Well, why did I choose 243? Yeah, it's basically double this payment. So if Kim put away $243, basically double that payment, how much would he have at age 67? You would double that amount. You got it. $1,300,000. $250 a month, 243, 245 would not be horrible to try to put away. I'm not saying it would be easy, but it wouldn't be horrible. So what we have done so far, the difference between what we did last week and what we did those first 3 weeks is scheduled payments. there were payments made in, was what we talked about last week. This week we're going to talk about payments taken out on a regular basis. No, we'll have to show you. So those payments are made in either monthly, quarterly, semi-annually, or annually. There is a scheduled payment. You know, what we've looked at before when we had simple interest, there may have been payments made in, but they weren't scheduled. You know, when we did the US rule, what's that? No. That was when the simple interest was when we did, you know, yes. Well, Pat, you know, like I say, Pat borrows. Oh, this computer is going to be a joy to work with tonight. Sorry. Pat borrows $8,000 at 7.2% on June 18th for 90 days. On July 21st, Pat pays blah, 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 blah. You know, find the total interest, find the amount due at the end, all that stuff. This was simple interest. Those payments weren't scheduled. It's just the borrower chose to make payments, partial payments. Before, yes, or the 90th day. Yeah. And in fact, that's one of the problems we had in the homework was, you know, Pat made that payment in July, then he made another payment in early August. Then what was the total interest and how much did Pat save by making the partial payments? So what would the total interest have been if he'd let the whole balance wait the 90 days and compare that to the interest paid after the partial payments? No, those were a pain. It's basically doing two problems just for one. Probably two or three. Compound interest could also have payments being made in. Let's say Sam invests $4,000 at 8% compounded. How about I make that look like English? Compounded quarterly. After 10 years, Sam invests an additional $3,000. How much does Sam have after 20 years? Again, there's payments being made in, but it wasn't a regular schedule. Yes, at 10 years, she paid in more money, but it wasn't forced. It wasn't required. It wasn't scheduled. What we looked at last week was Pat pays in $400 per month to an account paying 9.3% interest. How much does Pat have in 20 years? You can see here one of the keys is pays in per month or per quarter or per year. So there are regularly scheduled payments going in. That's how we know that this is an annuity. Okay, so what we're going to look at tonight is we're going to start looking at the second half of this. Generally, there is a break point in this, which is called maturity. Usually, that's retirement. Before that time is the accumulation phase. The accumulation phase means that there are payments being made into the fund. That's what we've been doing, yes. And then what would you be doing now if you're working, if you're paying in to a 403B or whatever? Yes. What we're going to look at today, what happens after retirement. This is going to be where you're drawing out. Drawing out just means regular payments are being paid to you. And of course, that goes until some sort of an end date, which is typically death, if you're lucky, right? Well, you'd rather have it be at death than 5 years before death. There are, whenever you take out a retirement plan, you can purchase annuities like this there's insurance companies still do retirement annuities where you put in a lump sum of money or you save up. They'll do both phases. You can actually do both phases together like this, or you can do one phase at a time. You can just do the accumulation phase like we calculated last time, and once you get to retirement, you have that lump sum of money. You can take the whole thing and do with it as you please. Or you can just do this liquidation phase where you have saved up a lump sum of money and you use that to purchase an annuity where they make the regular payments out to you every month or every quarter or whatever, and then you use that money. Or you can buy the two of them together in a package. Now, typically, buying the annuities is not a great deal because the companies that are selling you the annuities are trying to make money off of it. So they are collecting fees off of those annuities. But with these calculations, you should be able to figure out for yourself, hey, if I have $600,000 or whatever in my retirement, this is how much I can draw out of it every month and make it last this period of time. The advantage to having a purchased annuity is you can guarantee time links. Like this, if you're doing it yourself, you might say, well, I'm going to do it for 20 years. Well, what happens if you live 25 more years? You're in trouble. So with a purchased annuity, you can either purchase it for 20 years, and at 20 years it runs out no matter what, or you can purchase it for your lifetime and it makes payments until you pass away. Usually get a little bit less every month on that one, depending on how old you are. The insurance company could win out. You could die before the 20 years and they don't have to pay the whole thing out, or you could live 40 more years and they have to pay out a lot more money. So there's usually, since they're taking that risk, it's a little bit lower payment. You can even have some where it's guaranteed for the rest of your life plus the lifetime of a spouse or of a beneficiary. Those obviously they give you a lot less because the chances that one of you is going to live longer is greater than the chances that just you would live longer. It all depends on how it's set up. And some of them, once you pass away, whatever's left in there goes to the insurance company. They keep it. That's their bonus. So yeah, at that point, they're actually kind of cheering for you to die young, to put it bluntly. So let's look at that liquidation phase. Now, I smell something too, Kyle. I don't know what it is. I was trying to put my finger on what it was. Yeah. So anyway, this liquidation phase, we're going to start out by having a payment that we want to draw out every month. How much do you think you would want to draw out every month in your retirement is what we'd be asking. Okay, we'll come back and put numbers in just a second. So now what we're looking at up here, of course, is we start at $0, right? And we build up at the end of this. This is the future value of that accumulation phase. Well, after that maturity, when it switches over to liquidation, that same amount, that future value, becomes the present value of the liquidation phase. Because the liquidation phase, we start out with a lump sum of money, a large amount of money right now, at least we hope it's a large amount, and we draw it down till it's $0 at the end. So basically we're working backwards. Now the formula is slightly different because, just like what we said here, this is starting out with $0 and building up to a larger total, so the amount of interest earned is going to be less. This is starting out with a large amount of money that we're earning interest on and dwindling down to nothing. So we're going to get more interest out of it. So let's finish up this formula here. So we're finding the present value, which is that amount of money needed at the beginning of the liquidation phase. It's going to equal the payment that you wish to receive times, anybody want to guess? 3 parentheses. This first part's going to look vaguely familiar. 1 plus rate over n, close parentheses, power of n times t, you got it, minus 1, close parentheses, divide by, open parentheses, This is where it gets interesting. Times, open a new set of parentheses, 1 plus rate divided by n, close parentheses, to the power of n times t, close and close. So if you are trying to use a cell phone calculator, this is the formula that tells your that locks your calculator up and says, no, we can't do it. It's too many characters. If you have an older scientific calculator, on many of those calculators, this is the formula that goes past its character limit. You can't enter it all. That's the same n. Every place that n appears, there. N, remember, is your number of periods per year. So let's say somebody said they wanted $4,000 a year to retire on, or $4,000 per month. What age do you want to retire at? Don't say 40. 70? That works. Retire at 70. What age do you want to die at? I know it's a morbid question, but there's no nice way to ask. 95, okay. Yeah, 90, I think the average age is still in the low 80s. Yes. Yeah. So our present value is equal to our payment of $4,000 times 1, 2, 3, 1 plus, we need to know an interest rate. Now we've been saying 9, 10, 11% interest in the accumulation phase. But generally when you switch over to the liquidation phase where you're drawing the money out, you start to play it a little bit safer. So that interest rate gets smaller. So let's do at 6.7% interest. So this would be 0.6067 per month. So divide by 12. Then to the power of how many years is that? 70 to 95 is 25 years. Times 12 would give us 300. Very good. 95 minus 70 is 25 years. 25 times 12 is 300 months. Okay. If you want to get the right answer. If it's an annual payment, that'll sometimes work. But if it's monthly or quarterly, it will not work. 3 is the safe way to go, yes. Okay, so then we divide by open parentheses, 0.067 divided by 12 times, open parentheses, 1 plus 0.067 divide by 12, close parentheses, power of 300, close and close. So I've got 4,000 times 1, 2, 3, 1 plus 0.067 divide by 12, close, power of 300. Have to arrow out of the power, minus 1, close, divide by, open. 0.067 divided by 12 times, open, 1 plus 0.067 divided by 12, close, power of 300, arrow out, close and close. $581,600 and 36 cents. So that 600,000 or 650,000 we were looking at before, if you only plan on living until, for 25 years, that might be enough to get you through. No, I shouldn't say only plan on living. It's not like you at retirement, you schedule, hey, I'm going to be put down at 95 or whatever. You're looking at family history. What age did your parents live to? What type of health conditions have you had? So you're making an educated decision on how long you expect to live there. You're not, I know I'm saying it kind of coldly and callously of, when are you going to die? There's a lot that goes into that, but we don't have time to really talk about how that estimate is made if we want to get through the annuity stuff. I figure as long as I own a car, I control my life. So, anyway. Yeah. Yours doesn't work. Your calculator isn't working out? It worked? Okay. Perfect. Good evening. This place is a dead zone. Okay. So Peyton wants to retire at 62 years old. Peyton expects to live to 92 years old. At 6.3% interest, how much should Peyton have at 62 in order to be able to draw $2,500 every month? And go. I'll give you a few minutes to see if you. For those of you still punching buttons, let's make sure the formula is right. So the present value that we need at retirement, at 62 in this case, equals the payment of $2,500 times 1, 2, 3, 1 plus 0.063 divided by 12 to the power of, yes, 92, 62 to 92 is 30 years, times 12 is 360 months. Minus 1, close parentheses, divided by, open parentheses, 0.063 divided by 12 times, another open parentheses, 1 plus 0.063 divided by 12 to the power of, close parentheses, to the power of the 300 again, close and close, 360, thank you. That would have sucked. 2,500 times 1, 2, 3, 1 plus 0.063 divided by 12, close, power 360. I did it again, didn't I? Luckily, I can cheat. 403, 894, 98. So to draw out $2,500 a month for 30 years, you really only need a little over $400,000. That's not bad. I mean, that's $30,000 a year. That's not a bad income. Maybe you think there's not going to be a lot of taxes on it and stuff like that. Do you guys want to try one more on your own before we move on to the next stage? Why not? Okay, I like that attitude. What's it going to hurt? Alex, plans to retire at 65 and expects to live to 92. Alex wants to collect $8,000 quarterly and expects to earn 5.9% interest. How much does Alex need at 65? Okay, so that present value required is going to equal our payment of $8,000 times 1, 2, 3. Should be able to count to 3 by the end of the course at least, right? 1 plus 0.059 divided by 4, because it's quarterly now, to the power of 108. Let's talk about where that 108 came from. 92 minus 65 is 27 years, times 4 quarters in a year is 108. Minus 1, close parentheses, divide by, open parentheses, 0.059 divided by 4 times, open, 1 plus 0.059 divided by 4, close, to the power of 108, close, close. If you ever listen to the videos when I'm punching on the calculator like this, I don't know if you ever hear it sounds like I'm just pounding on my computer screen. 438 1006. What's that? Cool. That's always good when your calculator doesn't swear at you. I think you should store that calculator in a place of honor for getting you through this class. Tommy plans to retire at 62 and expects to live to 95. Tommy will have $750,000 saved at 62. If Tommy can earn 5.3% interest, how much can be drawn out each month? Now, I'm going to help you with one little thing here. We're not looking for the present value anymore. We know the present value. So we're looking for the payment that can be drawn out. We're going to start with that $750,000. What's going to happen after that? Divide. The rest of the formula is going to be identical. So I'm going to let you guys try to take it from there. So does your formula look something like that? 750,000 divided by 1, 2, 3 open parentheses. 1 plus 0.053 divided by 12. Close to the power of 396. Explore that again. 95 minus 62 is 33 years. 33 times 12 gives us 396 months. Minus 1, close parentheses, divided by, open parentheses, 0.053 divided by 12, times, open parentheses, 1 plus 0.053 divided by 12, close parentheses, power of 396, close and close, gives us $4,013.30. Well, I think we've earned a break. It is 6:21. Let's come back at 6:31. Stacy has it's not Stacy's mom, it's Stacy has $420,000 and is 63 years old. Stacy expects to live to 88. If Stacy can earn 6.1%, how much can be withdrawn each year? I'll give you guys a couple minutes. Close parentheses or open 0.061 divided by 1 times 1 plus 0.061 divided by 1. Close, power 25, close and close. So the key there was to make sure you had that 1 in there. That it was only once a year, and so that means 25 periods. 25 years times once a year. So did you guys get that punched in? What'd you get? 33,000, what's that again? And 6 cents. So $33,000, $33,168.06 per year. What do you think? Oh, we've been recording. Just the screen wasn't. What's that? It's a year, yeah. That's $33,000 a year. That's in retirement. That's a decent income for a single person. Okay, well, let's step it up a little notch. Come on now. So, Chris is 27 years old. Plans to retire at 64. Expects to live to 88. Chris saves $400 each month at 10.3% interest. If Chris will earn 5.1% while drawing out, that's after retirement, of course, how much can be withdrawn each month? So we have a number line thingy again. Somewhere in the middle of our number line is that magic retirement time. For Mr. Chris, or Miss Chris here, what is that age at? 64. There is a time, I'm just going to describe it as now, present. What is that magic age? 27. And then there is, I'm just going to put it bluntly, death, which is being planned at 88. Is that your brother's name, Chris? Oh, wow. It's my fault. So anyway, so between the two periods, there's things we need to know. All of them, of course, we know the time because we have the ages. So during the accumulation phase, the time, 64 minus 27 is 37 years. During the liquidation, 24 years. 88 minus 64 is 24 years. Do we know the rates for each? 10.3 while accumulating, 5.1 while liquidating. So we know that for both of them. There's one more piece of information. 400 a month, and that is during the accumulation. So this is the part right here, the accumulation phase that we know all three for. We know the time, we know the rate, and we know the regular amount, the regular payment. So that's where we're going to start. We always start with the one that we have all three pieces of information for. Over here, we're going to be trying to figure out what that monthly payment is. So what that means is we are starting out with $0 and we are going up to find some future value at the end of the accumulation phase. You remember the accumulation formula? Future value equals, what is the monthly payment? $400 times, you guessed it, 1, 2, 3. 1 plus 0.103 divided by, he is paying in monthly, or she is paying in monthly, so it's 12 months in a year, to the power of 37 times 12, which gives us 444. Very good. minus 1, close, divided by, open, 0.103, divided by 12, and then close and close. Very good. During accumulation phase, that's it. That's where it comes from. Not many people are old enough anymore to remember that reference. So 400. Oops, let's clear this out. Time. 1, 2, 3. Of course, after that liquidation formula, this formula seems kind of easy, doesn't it? Do you get 2,025,626? Wow. So Miss Chris will have over $2 million in her account when she retires. Now that is going to become the present value for the liquidation phase. Contain your excitement. So the payment drawn out is $2,025,626.11 divided by 1, 2, 3. 1 plus 0.51, good. Divided by 12, close to the power of 12 times 24 is 288. Minus 1, close, divided by, open, 0.051, and then divide by 12, and then times, open, 1 plus 0.051, divide by 12, close, power of 288, close and close. I'm getting $13,307.83. That's per month. For those of you in the class under 30 years of age, this is a hint, by the way. I mean, 64 is a relatively young retirement age these days. Starting at 27, that's not even that young. I mean, compared to me it is, but I mean, those of you that are 21, 20, 21, you could be starting this 21, 22 years of age. $400 a month. Now maybe you only put away $300. Maybe you only put away $200 a month. Guess what? You're still getting $6,000 a month. Did you come up with the 13 grand? Did anybody else get it? Is that what everybody else? Let me try it again. Let's see what goes on here. 2025. That's very possible. McDonald's can only have so many 14-year-olds in the store because there's certain things they can't run the grill, they can't run the fryers. There I get 12,208.02. Okay, so I don't know what happened there, but we're gonna. Still, 12 grand is not a bad monthly check. I'm pretty sure in my retirement I can live off 12 grand. Just saying. A month, yeah. Considering that's way more than I've ever made in a month working. Stevie is 23 years old. Plans to retire at 63. Expects to live to 93. Stevie can earn 10.8% while I'm just going to do while accumulating, and 4.9% while liquidating. If Stevie wants $5,000 a month in retirement, how much should Stevie be saving each month now? I don't mean you have to answer now. I mean, how much at this current time does Stevie have to pay in? But go ahead and see if you can figure that out. I'll give you a few minutes. Is it hint time? So let's throw some ages in here. We've got now is 23, retirement at 63, death at 93. So we've got the time, 40 years, 30 years. We've got the rate. We better have the rate, which is 10.8 and 4.9. Which payment do we know? The 5,000 in retirement, the liquidation payment. So we were starting out with the liquidation phase, trying to find the present value of the liquidation phase. You want me to just pause there and let you guys keep going? Do I take that as a no or do I take that as a yes? Still lost? Okay, I'll let you attempt it. I'll give you a couple minutes. You guys get that formula? Yep, grabbed the wrong number. Might be able to punch it in quick again while I'm getting mine punched in. Did you get 942, 104, 44? So that is the amount of money needed right here in order to make that retirement possible. So that's going to become the future value of our accumulation. So the amount that must be paid in each month is going to equal that 942, 104.44 divided by 123. 1 plus 0.108 divided by 12. Close. Power of 480 minus 1. Close. Divided by. Open. And then 0.108. And then divided by 12. And then close, close. Good. So divided by 1, 2, 3. 3. Come on. Divided by 3. 1 plus 0.108 divided by 12. Close, power 480 minus 1. Close, divide, open. 0.108 divided by 12. Close, close. 116.55. So once again, that's that power of being young. $120 a month can get you $5,000 a month in retirement if you start young. I know I'm sounding very, very preachy, but sure. There you go. The tiny formula for that. These last two problems, how do you feel about them? It's a matter of keeping track. I think that drawing out this timeline here works wonders. Help you keep track of what do you have. So, I mean, do you have everything in the accumulation? So you start with the accumulation, find the future value, and then wrap that over into the present value. Or do you have everything in liquidation? So you're going to work backwards to find the present value and slide that back as the future value. Being organized is of the essence in these. Yes, the future value or present value, it's times, payments, or divide. Yes. I have wonderful news. That is the end of our new material. There will be a new quiz due tomorrow at 11:59 p.m. tomorrow. There will be a new homework due next week. Even though there is a test next week, there is a homework due for next Wednesday. Next week, there actually will be a quiz that's due Thursday. But that quiz is optional. If you don't do it, it will not hurt you. If you do it, however, what I will do is if that quiz is better than any of your other quiz scores, I'll replace your lowest other quiz score with it. If you're looking back at other quizzes and if you have quizzes that are low scores, send me an email with what quiz numbers those are, and I will reopen those for you. Now, before we go into review, what's that? Before we go into review mode, I do want to state this. Make sure in the next week you look back at my math lab and compare the grade book in my math lab to the grade book in Blackboard. Because if you've taken any quizzes late, they said the My Math Lab system does not alert me of new grades, and the only way I see the grades is in the big grid, so it's really easy for me to miss a grade that's new in that grid, because Blackboard, I don't see the whole big grid. I can't just put the two grids side by side and compare them. Blackboard gives me a small window, My Math Lab gives me the whole big grid, and so it's really tough when people do a quiz late to compare them and catch it, so it's very easy for me to miss it, put it that way. So go back and look. If there are quizzes you have done late, let me know and make sure I get those changed. Send it to me in an email. That way I know I've got it in front of me and I'm not going to screw it up. Yes. Yeah. I'll fix that. Don't worry about that. I can go. Yeah, I can go in and see that you still worked on it, so I'll be able to fix that. So yes, make sure you're doing that. I will try to have all of the grades updated to this point on Friday, so that way I'll include this new quiz in there. So by the end of the day Friday, the only thing that won't be in the grade book is the new homework due next week and that extra credit quiz next week. And of course the final test.